Hi, today we're going to talk about how to set up a good lead generation business that will give you good cash flow and some good tips and ideas on how to get started and what industries to get involved in. Before I get started, I wanted to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Andre Polgar from DomainingTips.com and DomainingServers.com. He's offering a special where you can host unlimited domain names for 98 cents a month and do a good deed, because 100% of the revenue that he's making will be donated to a foundation that I just found out about called Kiva.org. And he's also offering a lifetime guarantee. Kiva is one of those lenders that combat poverty daily by making small loans to borrowers around the world. Often a small amount of money stands in the way of somebody and their dreams, whether it's a Kenyan farmer who needs $500 in order to double their grain production, or a Bolivian woman who needs $1,500 tuition for nursing school. Kiva provides a helping hand to these and countless other borrowers. So take a look at Kiva.org. I took a look at it tonight for the first time. It's a legitimate site, and I applaud Andre for doing this. And he's basically said anything he makes between now and the end of the year will go 100% to Kiva.org. Okay, so we've covered that, and now we're going to get into the basics of lead generation. This is probably going to be split up into a few videos because there's so much I could talk about with lead generation. I've had a great deal of success in lead generation, but first I had a couple of, one failure with lead generation. So I'll talk about the failures, and then I'll talk about some of the successes and some of the areas and ways you can get into lead generation to make money and earn some extra cash flow for yourself now as the holiday season approaches. I'm sure everybody needs it. You can never go wrong with extra cash flow. Anyway, so what is a good lead generation, and how do you find a good lead gen business? Well, what I recommend is something that goes against the grain of what most people do, and that is most people will go out and they'll build a website, and then they'll try to find people that they can farm off their leads to, and they don't usually end up capturing a whole lot of leads because they lack a whole lot of focus. What I like to do, and what I've been doing lately for the last, year and a half, is I like to test something locally first, and then if it makes money and I can see that it's going to be profitable, then and only then will I build the website for it. But I usually have an idea that's made money and earned me some income before I go ahead and build a website. Even though I have a team of 45 designers, I just still don't want to waste their time building websites if I'm not going to be able to make any money with it. I've been down that road before, and there's no point. So let's talk about something that I did that I went out and I bought limo.ca, and I thought that'd be a great domain name to use for lead generation. The only problem was I was getting leads, and I was lots of them, about 5 to 10 a day. And the problem was I couldn't. They were from all over Canada, and I obviously didn't have relationships with every limo driver throughout Canada in every city. So that made it very difficult to farm out those leads. And although the domain is very valuable, I don't think I'm going to be able to turn that into a profitable lead generation business. So all I've done is I found somebody local in Toronto, and when I get leads into Toronto, I give them to him, and he takes care of them, and he gives me 20% of his profit, which is what we agreed upon. So there's all kinds of other businesses that we'll talk about that are good lead generation businesses. Something that you can bring in leads from all over is only good if you have ties in each one of the major cities or even the suburbs, because I was getting calls and I don't know where, random places. They weren't major cities in Alberta or Saskatchewan, and I was getting calls from Nova Scotia, and I don't have anybody out there, so I really wasn't doing anything with the leads, and I'm still not doing anything with the leads. So that turned out to be not a really good idea. So basically you stick to local lead generation first. There's lots of money to be made in local lead generation, and basically what you do is you find clients that will pay you for your leads. Now you can do this a number of ways. I don't know about you guys, most of you. I can tell you that I work out of my home office, and I start at about 8:30 and I go till about 10 o'clock at night, and I like to get out and I go to a local coffee shop where I sit there and I have a coffee, sometimes with somebody and sometimes by myself, or sometimes I have meetings. But I always go there and I always pay attention to the people that pull into coffee shops, because you'll see a lot of trades and you'll see a lot of companies that pull in there. And I'm not afraid to approach them and say, look, if I could bring you a customer, would you give me 20% of your net revenue from that customer? And they say, sure, because obviously if I don't bring them a customer, they get 100% of nothing. But if I do bring them a customer, they get 80% of something, which is always better than 100% of nothing. So it's not a hard sell to tell them that. Sometimes they don't believe that I'll bring them in any leads, but I don't ask them for any money up front. So there's no gimmick, there's no game. I'm not trying to build them a website. I'm not trying to do anything for them except find a way to bring them leads. And based on those leads, they pay me. And since I control the leads, I also control whether they actually sold the customer or not, because I do follow-up calls about a week, 2 weeks, a month, depending on what type of service it is, to the customer to see how much they enjoyed the service, if they were treated properly, and how much they paid, and things like that, to make sure they're not overcharged. So that's how I follow up on my leads, to make sure that the people I'm providing leads for aren't screwing me over. So that's a good way to do it, and I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. The other way to do it is if you have people that are running service businesses that you know and trust, it's much easier to create lead generation businesses with them right away, because you know hopefully they're not going to screw you around. Hopefully they're going to pay you your 20%. But again, you also have to collect the leads and follow up on them as well, because we all know what happens when money gets involved. Sometimes people get a little greedy and they say they didn't close the sale when they actually did. But once you tell them you're going to be following up with the leads, it's very easy. I'm going to show you a little later how you get those leads and how you follow them up through the websites that we're going to build, and how you store them in a database, and how you keep constant contact with them, and you can also market to them later and down the road. So yeah, so I go to coffee shops, and I go, besides, you know how you look at signs and everything differently, and you don't look at the world the same way as people that aren't in domains are. So when I go to a coffee shop, I tend to look at all the people that come in and the trucks that they pull in and what's written on the side of it. They could be a printing company, they could be a plumber, they could do fences, they could do all kinds of different trades. And I'm not afraid to ask them if they're interested in more business. Now, if you get the owner, it's much better, because they definitely want the business. But generally, people driving small trucks for, you can tell if it's a small company, a 1 or 2 man show, or whether it's a big company, like a heating company or an air conditioning company. You can get lead generations from them as well. So you basically create relationships with them. And again, I ask them, if I provide you with a customer, will you give me 20% of the profit that I bring you in, and you keep 80% of the net? Generally, most of them, like I said, will say yes, because again, they could have 100% of nothing. So I test those relationships out, and I set them up, and it could be for an alarm system. It could be for anything. Today I got one specifically for pest control, where these guys do extermination, and they're exterminators, and they go house to house and they spray for their centipedes or cockroaches or mice or rats, or they remove raccoons. I don't know what they do. I don't really care what they do, but I will get a list of their services, and he's agreed to pay me 20% for every lead that I give him. Now, he's in Richmond Hill, which is the city that I live in, but it's a suburb of Toronto, so I could give him a wide area to go if I wanted to, but I'm going to concentrate just on the main areas of Richmond Hill and Thornhill, which are neighboring suburbs of Toronto, first, to see how many leads I can get, because I think there's enough business in the little suburbs to make money, and it's much easier to get indexed in the smaller suburbs than it is in the big cities like Toronto. So you create the relationships, and then you build the site. And I'm going to show you what some of those sites look like in a minute. And then I like to, sometimes I even send them, if they don't believe me at first, sometimes I'll send them 1 or 2 leads and see how they do. And when they convert the customer, then they're going to want more. So I'll send them free leads. And after they convert the customer, they're always a believer, and then they always want to get back to me, and they always are chasing me for more leads and more business. And then they're anxious to give me what I want. And everybody's happy, because I get my 20%, they get their 80%, and we all win. So any service industry that you can think of is good, whether it be Swimming pools, building swimming pools. Average pool costs about $30,000 to $50,000. 10 to 20% of that is pretty good, whether it's pest control like we talked about, custom closets, blinds and shutters, locksmiths, sprinkler systems, landscapers, fences, real estate agents, limo companies. Well, one limo company specifically, but don't go national. Trust me, it didn't work. I deal with my cord banks. I've been dealing with that for a while. That pays good money. Plumbers, electricians, dentists, painters, lawyers, and then dentists. I mean, there's all kinds of them. So the amount of lead generation you can do is huge. But you have to be willing to work at it. And you have to be willing to put the time in. I think I mentioned that I get into my office at about 8:30 in the morning after I drop off my 2 girls first to school and then my 2 boys to high school. And then I grab my coffee and I'm at my desk at 8:30 and I go till about 10 o'clock at night. Some nights when I'm feeling a little lazy, I quit at about 8. Still a good 12-hour day. But I do spend that hour at the coffee shop looking for more leads and more businesses and more chances. I mean, you could also do more than one company in one industry. So if you have 2 or 3 leads or 4 leads in, say, pest control or whatever it is, you can farm them out to them or farm them out to different alarm companies, and you can see who has a better close ratio, and you can see who's more honest with you as you go along. So that's lead generation in a nutshell. Now I'm going to switch screens and I'm going to open up something else and we're going to look at some examples. So I hope you're okay with that. Okay, so now we're going to start with a little website that I designed for a customer. It's a local domain lead generation website. It's called Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry. You can see that there are about 2 million results for Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry. So it's a hard term to rank for, but still a good one to try. So this is page 1 of Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry, and if you scroll down, you can see that we got Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry ranked on page 1 out of 2 million results, and I built this site about a week ago with original content using my content development team at nichewebsites.com. Again, that kind of site would cost you about $399, and it comes with original content. And then if you go to the site, you'll see that there's a phone number up, there's some good information, and then you see at the bottom, you'll see all of the counties or cities in the Orlando vicinity, and they all have pages. So if we go to Altamont Springs and click that, you'll see that that has unique content for Altamont Springs. And also in the article, I mentioned Altamont Springs, Florida, in a couple places to make sure that this Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry gets indexed for Altamont Springs in Florida. And that you make sure that the keyword is in there probably about 5 or 6 times. You don't want to do it too much, otherwise it's called keyword stuffing, and then you'll get penalized for it. So that site is good, and it's good for lead generation. We just finished it, so there's no progress as to see how many leads we're going to get from it. I'm going to show you another site now with a really neat plugin. So if we go to bridalconsultants.ca, you can see that I'm using Ian Clark's email WP Vanity plugin that I've mentioned on a couple of other things. This site is strictly built to sell emails and get lead generation. It's bridalconsultants.ca. The content articles are up there. It's got AdSense. I could put a ClickBank product in here if I wanted as well. But what's really cool about this site is this little thing over here. So if I go ahead and it says free information, click here, and it looks like an eye. If I click it, out pops this really cool form for lead generation called Need a Bridal Consultant, and it asks for your name, your first name, last name, email, the city you're in, the phone number, and any comments that you want to give us or tips about what you're looking for in a bridal consultant. So we have that, and we can just click that and it goes away. I like it because it's a good little form. Don't like it that much to keep clicking it. And then if you want to install it, it's a free plugin, so you can go to your WordPress, you log in, you do a search for a side offer, you'll find the plugin. This is under Bridal Consultants, that's why it says it's installed already. You can install it yourself and you'll enjoy that plugin as well. Again, these are quick sites, but you can see they get indexed, and it's important if you're going to get local leads to go after the local markets like we did for Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry. You can concentrate on just one suburb if you want to, like Lake Buena Vista. You can concentrate on Seminole County if you want. You can concentrate on whatever you want. But in this case, the customer wanted Orlando Cosmetic Dentistry, so that's what we did. He's provided a phone number. I'm going to add that lead gen thing onto the site a little bit later on, and off we go. So yeah, my company nichewebsites.com did that. That site was about $3.99. I think about $150 extra for the all the counties and the county pages to be done. And we can do tons of those. We put out about 700 of those sites a month. So if anybody needs one, feel free to email me after this at adam@dcg.com. Again, this isn't really a plug for my company. It's more about lead generation businesses. So let's go over to the next thing. So if you look at Pest Control Toronto, you'll see that there's 2.5 million results for pest control in Toronto. Lots of companies advertising. I haven't yet done a site because I just talked to the guy today. I'm probably going to do it for Richmond Hill instead of Toronto. So we saw 2.5 million for Toronto, and for Richmond Hill, it's much less competitive, 580,000. But I know I can get ranked. I know I can get some good glue here in the Google local search, and I know I can probably get them some good leads, especially since it's going to be getting cold soon, and probably raccoons are going to be looking for a place to hide. So we're definitely going to concentrate on that. I'm going to try to set up one of those sites based on lead generation. I'm going to bring them in some business. That's one of the ways that I'm doing it, but you can do it with all of the other industries that I mentioned as well. I'm also working with a lawyer, and we're doing lead generation for legal website designs. He's contacting a lot of other lawyers. You can see some examples of some sites that we've done for law firms. And again, you'll see this cute little thing, but it's different now. You need a good web designer, your name, last name, and all these fields can be customized. The plugin that you need to use for that is called Contact Form 7. Let's go back to the installed plugins. Let's go to over here, install plugins, and you'll see Contact Form 7 is the plugin that you want for that. Another benefit of using Contact Form 7 is all these cute little leads that it takes. It will email them to whoever you want, so you can email it to you and to the bridal consultant or to the lawyer or to whoever you're sending your leads to, but it also stores it in a database so you can go in and log in and take a look and see all of your leads, and you can follow up with them from there as well. And you can follow up once a week if you want, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. And it's important that when you're doing a lead generation business that you create positive relationships that both of you benefit and both of you earn money from. And the service industries that are local in your area are unlimited. You just need to think outside the box, and you need to create relationships. You need to go to those coffee shops. You need to go wherever you have to go to get these relationships started and start building your lead generation businesses now. So again, you can build these on your own if you want to, or you can have me build them for you. And they're a lot of fun. There's a few others that I've done that I'm working on, but I mean there's tons of them. I did well, let me see. Well, for the vanity plugin, I set it up at I did one at girls.ca because I think a lot of girls will want to buy at Rachel at girls.ca, or they're going to want to buy some other name at girls.ca. And I set them up at other sites too, where there's service industry, things like that. I did it at gardeners.ca because I think that a lot of gardeners will want to be at gardeners.ca. It's my automatic password filler. And there you go. You got the same similar sites, unique articles. You sell your own email. I mean, there's lots of different things you can do. And then I'm going to add on all these lead generation pages, I'm going to add that cute little plugin box that we had on Bridal Consultants because I think it's really useful plugin. There's a couple other ideas that I have that I'm going to implement in future versions so that if you don't want to park your domains, you'll have 4 or 5 different ways to earn revenue. So if we look at a site, what my plans are, it's very simple. We're going to have a site with original content. We're going to have a nice custom header. You're going to be able to sell email addresses. That'll be your one stream. Your second stream will be your lead generation. Your third stream will be your AdSense. That's 3. We're also going to involve ClickBank or affiliate products, which is 4. I also want to see if we can sell some subdomains, which would be 5. So there's lots of different ways that you can make money with sites without having to depend on parking to do that. And we'll look at some of those in future videos. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got some good value out of it. I know I did by sharing it with you, and I'll look forward to your feedback. Feel free when you go to my site where the video is going to be posted, theartofthename.com. If you take a look in the top corner, once that loads, make sure you fill in your email address here and subscribe, because you'll see all kinds of good videos. And you'll be alerted every time I do a new video. You'll get an email saying the new video has been released. So again, feel free to email me at adam@dcg if you have any questions. Sign up here for the newsletter, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with any of the videos you're going to see. Also, feel free to email me at adam@dcg.com if you have topics you want me to cover or things that you want discussed, anything. I mean, I'm open to topics, and a lot of people have already sent me topics, so I'm going to have lots of good topics for a lot of good videos. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Goodbye.